RosterWatch Nation, how are we doing? It is officially week 4. The games are going on right now, aka Atlanta versus Jacksonville. A mud fest, a shit fest, a puke fest, a pick fest, whatever you want to call it. Desmond Ridder needs to be on the bench ASAP if we want to see anything from Mr. Kyle Pitts, from Mr. Drake London. Bijan is somehow fighting against the odds and making one-handed catches and getting the job done on a weekly basis. But what a freaking mess from the Atlanta Falcons thus far. I think it's 20 to Ripsky going into half. I just walked away from the TV just a couple minutes ago, and it was 20-0. I think going into half, 17-0, my bad. And Ridder 9 for 14, 73 yards and 2 picks as expected. And the Jaguars are walking the dog. But how the hell are we doing this morning, everybody? Appreciate you guys tuning in, tapping into watching rosters as we discuss some start sits on this fine, beautiful Sunday, October 1st. The leaves are about to start changing. How the hell are we doing in the chat? I see you guys, Ian's Cats, Sean Roberts, Ryan Hanlon, the Snowman, CC Sharks, and Bowley are all in the chat already answering questions. If you do got a question, please drop it in the comments here on YouTube. If you are on Twitter, be sure to go over to YouTube because I cannot see the Twitter comments if you comment on Twitter for some reason. I don't know what that reason is, but it doesn't work. So please go over to Twitter, click that like button, click subscribe, and drop your comments, drop your start sit questions, and we'll get those things answered up for you in the next 45 to an hour, depending on how long I want to go. But I just cracked my light caffeine drink for the morning. Let's get cracking. I got to pull up my rankings quick. I got to pull up our overall rankings quick. And I guess first things first, we'll start out with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I already see the comment in the chat. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is, in fact, playing quarterback today for the Cleveland Browns because of Deshaun Watson being out. And then in Las Vegas, it looks like Aiden O'Connell will be playing quarterback because Jimmy Garoppolo is out. And the third one, which just left my mind, is Derek Carr will actually be playing, it looks like, today instead of Jameis Winston. So I don't know if that actually helps or hurts my Alvin Kamara running back 9 on the week take or not, but I'm going to continue to ride with it because I trust it. I think Kamara is going to be A-okay this week. So you can find all those rankings, of course. You can find them. It's the RosterWatch rankings. You can find them over at rosterwatch.com. And anyway, let me jump in the chat here and start answering some questions. Ian's Cat says, F me. No. Watson out. Start DTR in all formats. Why can't the Ravens at least get the KO Watson, the knocked out Watson? I think it's a dangerous game to just play DTR in all formats. There's no Marlon Humphrey. There's no David Ojabo. There's no Odafe Away. So it's going to help on the Cleveland side. But I think what this is going to do is it's going to be a guy like Tillman. I'm expecting Tillman to be active in this game because that's a dependable target for our guy DTR. I'm expecting Elijah Moore to get some targets out of the backfield because he was lined up in the backfield. He's been lined up in the backfield over the course of the last 3 weeks. He's going to continue to do that. Jerome Ford should get a couple more carries than expected. Things like that are what kind of I'm expecting. Also, David Njoku, who wore just the dirtiest mask. I should pull that mask up. And this is one of the this has got to be like, this has to be top 1 coolest walk in get ups, suits, things you could show up to a game with. I'm going to share this screen because I don't know if you guys haven't seen this on Twitter or not. You need to. Let me share my screen really quickly and then I'll take it down. But so this David Njoku thing right here. Check out this fit with this mask. So David Njoku had a burn incident. I think it was last night. And he's got like face burns, like arm burns, et cetera, from a fire pit. This was maybe not last night, but 2 nights ago. And so he came in with this mask on because the question was whether he would play or not today was dependent on if he could put the helmet on. So anyway, I think that is just that's pretty sick. So anyway, this Cleveland thing is kind of interesting. Sean Roberts says Superflex 1-2, not looking good, but time to turn it around. Hey man, still early in the season, 1-2. Actually, I helped a buddy draft before the season started. It was like a couple days before the season started, and he actually went into the woods going for Green Beret training. And I was supposed to be setting his lineup every single week, and it logged me out. And you need that one-time password to get back in. So his team was nice, but he ended up playing guys that got hurt. So Dalen Petrie got hurt. Najee Harris wasn't doing great. So we had Swift on the bench, and like we were unable to touch the lineup for 3 weeks. He just got out yesterday, and team's 0-3, but the roster's still nice. So it's still early in the season. We're only a quarter way to getting near the playoffs. So you still got plenty of season left, Sean. I think you'll be just a-okay. Ryan Hanlon says, Cody, appreciate you. DTR Stravaganza says the Snowman. Ravens defense or Bengals defense? I'm going Bengals defense today against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans are banged up, and my expectation is that I think the Ravens are just innately a better team and a better defense than the Bengals right now. But the Bengals, than the Cleveland Browns. The Bengals defense, however, is playing against Tennessee, who's not been playing good all year. Burks is out. Derrick Henry's been inefficient. Who else am I thinking of? Hopkins hasn't been good. Tannehill, of course, is innate to throw picks. Jerome Ford or Damian Pierce. I have Ford ranked ahead of Pierce. Need some upside. Gabe Davis or DJ Moore. I believe I have DJ Moore a little bit higher than Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis, quite a bit lower. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be one of those volatile plays. You have to play him if you want some mega upside. But I think also when you're talking about upside this week, DJ Moore does have it. He's gonna draw some Patrick Surtain, but this game should have opportunities for everybody on the field. Hit that like button, as Snowman says. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for tuning in, tapping in. What's up, France? Thank you. Appreciate you. Pick 2. Roshan, Kamara, Pacheco, because Barkley and Eckler are out. Well, Kamara I have as running back 9 this week. Pacheco I have, I believe, 2 spots ahead of Roshan. Yeah. Pacheco I have running back 29. Roshan I have running back 31. If I had to set my own lineup, I'm playing Roshan because I like the ability for him to get more carries as the game wanes versus Pacheco having a guy like McKinnon and a guy like Clyde that's kind of annoying in PPR. But I have them literally like in back-to-back, same section. It's like bang, 77, 78, 79 in flex rankings, back-to-back-to-back. Sounds like we just got a touchdown. I don't get the game on in my room, but I have the game on in the other room, and I just heard Drake London touchdown. Looks like there's a 15-yard touchdown to Drake London. So the Falcons are indeed on the board in this football game. So, JB, to answer your question, it would be Pacheco and Kamara. However, I actually like Roshan. So if I'm setting the lineup, I'm going to go Roshan and Kamara. Do I bench Derrick Henry for James Cook and Swift? I think that's kind of where we're at. James Cook is a definite start right now. Swift is just like in that ballpark. And I think that, let's see here. The only reason that we have Derrick Henry higher is because Trashman has him as a number 7 overall play on the week, which skews the numbers a little bit. But me and Alex are both in line with Swift I have Swift ahead of Henry. Alex has him back to back. Yeah, I think the consensus would say I like Swift. I like Swift and Cook, to be honest with you, this week. Need 2, full PPR. Ford, 8-chain, Roshan. Let's see here. I think for sure Ford. So I have Ford and 8-chain back-to-back. Yeah, Ford, 8-chain are both ahead of Roshan. The real question, how bad is Watson's shoulder? If it's a tear, that could be it. Also, if there's if it is a tear, or this is a big expanded conversation, but if there's a tear or anything, you're talking about a situation where that contract probably has some tolls in it, where this guy is guaranteed $200 and some million, but then maybe, I don't know. I'm just spitting out of my ass right now. I have no clue, but I'm just saying that there's a chance that him getting a tear or missing and going on IR, anything like that would enhance Cleveland's ability to save some money. Trade away Mark Andrews for Josh Jacobs. No, today's going to be a Mark Andrews day. Do I sit Mike Evans for Marquise Brown or Shaheed? Well, you'd have to have some stones to play Shaheed over him. I like it. I don't love it as much now that Carr's back, because I don't think I'm going to be pushing the football as much. So it's really Mike Evans versus Hollywood Brown. And in that matchup head up, I think I'm still going to take Mike Evans despite this matchup being a tough one. Brown, see if I can find him on here. Brown I have as wide receiver 28. Mike Evans still as 16. It's a tough matchup, but you're also talking about the Arizona Cardinals. Marquise Brown should get a lot of Travarius Ward as well. DTR has been playing with Tillman since high school. Yep, he has. Flex, half PPR, Flowers, Ramondre, Tank, Javonte, DJ Moore. Flex, half PPR. Let's see. Flowers, Ramondre, Tank, Javonte, DJ Moore. Milburn, do you only get to pick one? Do you only get to pick one, Milburn? If you only get to pick one, I'm leaning Ramondre and Flowers. And that would leave me toward, let's see where I have these guys in flex rankings. They have to be right next to each other. Flowers, I have at 39 overall in flex. Ramondre at 42. So they're back to back. I would go Flowers then. Everyone loves Tank, but I think this game is not going to be in Tank's favor. I have Tank at 48 in flex. Tank is a guy that you've seen get the deep targets today. Sorry, over the last couple of weeks. But Houston's down two more offensive linemen, Laramie Tunsil and Josh Jones. Josh Jones has been a turnstile this year. Laramie Tunsil's not been good. And I think Pittsburgh is going to win this football game. You just came off a very high game for Houston in Jacksonville. They're going back home, and Pittsburgh is not happy right now. Pittsburgh's going to go in there, and they're trying to make a statement, try to catapult. They didn't have a great game against Vegas, trying to get another step up. I think this is going to be a Pittsburgh ass whooping, and I think that this defensive line is going to have 6 to 7 to 8 sacks, and that's going to not give TJ Stroud the time that we want to see him sit back there in the pocket in a clean pocket, get the ball out. And I love Stroud. I love Dell. Everybody knows that. I love Nico. I love all these guys, but this matchup scares me a lot for Houston and their ability to get the ball downfield to Adele. So for that reason, in this matchup specifically, I would lean towards Nico. Touchdown to Ritter. Yep. I am sitting Andrews for a bunch of tight ends today. That Cleveland D versus tight ends is brutal so far. Yeah, but there's no Bateman, there's no Odell Beckham, and Baltimore needs to get right. And when Baltimore wants to get right, there's only two guys that can do that, and their names rhyme with Lamar and end with Andrews. So that's why I flipped and I put Andrews up at tight end 1 for this week. Need 3 out of 4. Jacobs, Kyron Williams, Elvin Kamara, Ken Walker. So I know Kamara is my number 9 overall. I know Ken Walker's in there, so Ken Walker's 5. So that's 2. Then you have Jacobs and Kyron. Kyron I have at running back 11 and Jacobs at 7 against the Chargers. So running back 9 Kamara, running back 7 Jacobs, running back 5 Walker, and that leaves Mr. Kyron Williams on the bench, despite having the number 1 snap share in football right now at the running back position. PPR flex, Brandon Ayuk, Jerome Ford, Roshan Johnson, or Devon Achane. So we know Achane's ahead of Roshan. We know Ford is ahead of Roshan. And the question then begins, Ayuk. Where's Ayuk finishing right now on the flex rankings? Apropos to Mr. Ford, if I can type. Number 1 would be Ayuk then. And then number 2 would be Ford, I think. Yeah. No, Achane. Achane's ahead of Ford by 1 spot. So I'd go Achane and Brandon Ayuk in this game. Dell's going up against a banged up Joey Porter. Yeah. Jay Mixon, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, James Conner, Zach Moss, pick 3. You guys have some good backfields. I've got numerous questions today so far that have been pretty solid, strong backfields. And I was actually just talking to Byron about this. As he had Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb went down, and he's got Ken Walker, he's got Kyron Williams, he's got Devon Achane, and Joe Mixon. And I was like, dude, what? This is a great backfield. He's like, yeah, I also got Garrett Wilson. And I was like, what? Like, Garrett Wilson now doesn't look great, but on the surface at the beginning of the year, obviously it did. All right, so this question is Mixon, Henry, Swift, Connor, Moss. You have to bench 2 because you have to start 3. So I think we're benching Henry for sure because we have to start Mixon. Starting Mixon and Moss, who I have as top 15 plays. And then it's Connor, Swift, Henry. Where are they at? Swift is right there. So Swift is at 14. And Connor is 28. And yeah, so we're going to go back to back to back to back. That's running back number 13, 14, 15, Swift, Moss, and Mixon. Ayuk, Javonte, or Danny Dimes in the Superflex full PPR pick 1. A lot of people just want to go quarterback, but I want to go Ayuk here. Superflex, need Levis is still out there. Do I jump on him? Would drop O'Connell from Vegas? No, you can't do that right now because Malik is technically ahead of Levis in Tennessee, and O'Connell's going to play today. So you're not going to drop O'Connell because there's still a chance that could be something, especially today. So yeah, hold on to O'Connell. Appreciate you, Milbourne. Thank you. Big Bob Watson, appreciate you as well. Moss or T. Higgins today in P. That's a big one because I think that this is going to be a juicy matchup for the Cincinnati Bengals just overall. Tennessee's down a couple of defensive linemen. They're down Elijah Molden. I think this is a super get-right game for Cincinnati, even though they won last week. I think you're looking at a super game for Cincinnati at Tennessee today for Higgins, a little Boyd, a little Chase. I think Mixon ends the game on some running. Like I love T here. I got T at 23rd overall, Moss at 30th overall in the flex rankings. Mr. Ahmed, appreciate the question. Jerome Ford, Miles Sanders, or Pacheco? I want to say, so we got Pacheco at 29. I got Ford at 24. And Sanders, I think I dropped a little bit because of the banged up injury. But I can't find him. I have him at 19, even though I dropped him. So it's Sanders at 19 and Ford at 24. So that would be the 2 plays. That's because we use the cheat sheet. Exactly. That's why you get this loaded backfields. Like we talked about that all freaking fall while we were doing mocks, while we were on SiriusXM drafting and just getting these loaded backfields. And A-Chain was one of those guys. Jerome Ford was one of those guys. And now you're sitting here with 2 guys that are top 24 plays on a weekly basis. Pick 2, Flowers, Dell, and Godwin, standard scoring. I definitely want to play Godwin today. Let's see where I have these guys lined up officially. I think Flowers is going to be number 1 first off. And then Dell. Flowers and then Dell. Yeah, Flowers, then Dell. Gun shy after the last 2 weeks. Jay Kelly or Pierce at running back. Jay Kelly. Tutu or Jacoby in flex spot with Jimmy G out. Still going Jacoby. Jacoby and Josh Kelly. Matt Rogostad, appreciate the question. Who to start at my flex, Hopkins or Marquise Brown, full PPR? That's a tough matchup. So Hopkins is going to see some Cam Taylor Britt. Marquise Brown is going to see some Travarius Ward. Hopkins does not look like himself. And Marquise Brown is a little banged up. I think I'm going to go Hopkins here. I'm going to go Hopkins. Would you drop the Jets defense for the Chargers, Bucks, Vikings, or Denver today? Denver's playing Chicago. That's obviously probably the best matchup. The Bucks are playing against New Orleans. The Chargers are playing against a rookie in Aiden O'Connell, but they don't have Bosa or Derwin. The Vikings get Carolina. The Jets get the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. I think your safest bet today is to go with Denver, but they can't tackle. They had 17 missed tackles just against running backs last week. The Bucks get the Saints. The Vikings get Carolina. I think your safest bet here is going Vikings and hoping for a turnover. The last time these 2 teams played, the Vikings had, I want to say I think they had a pick and then they went to overtime and they won like 22-21, somewhere in that ballpark. So I'm going to go Vikings. I'm going to bet on Danielle Hunter and DJ One. I'm getting home a couple times. Appreciate the question, B. Ollie. Dropping Jets sucks, but I get it. Pick one, Olave, Evans, or Pittman. Olave pretty clearly. Yeah. Pittman, I like Pittman, but he's 6 spots lower, playing the Rams. The Rams actually been a decent matchup. Evans, love Evans, but again, that's a tough matchup with Lattimore. I think you're just going to go with Olave. Tua or Fields? That's actually like interesting because of the week's matchup, but I got Tua at 5 and Fields at 16. I'm the lowest on Fields. I'm just kind of out on him. I don't want to play that situation. I know it's Denver, but Denver also has a couple of good back end guys, so I'm just going to be out on Fields for now. Tua against Buffalo with Waddle coming back. Give me Tua. Start 3, Cooper, Garrett Wilson, Thielen, Dotson, Palmer. What a bunch of underwhelming dudes. That's a bunch of underwhelming dudes. That's unfortunate. So I think first off, you have to play Cooper, even though it's tough to visualize it without Watson. Wilson is just behind him in my rankings, and Thielen is way ahead. So Thielen's number 1. And then I don't know where Palmer's at. I have Palmer ahead of Cooper as well. So we're going to go Thielen, Palmer, Cooper. That's my 3. Half PPR, I need 3. Kyren, A-Chain, Mixon, Moss. Kyren, A-Chain, Mixon, Moss. You're going to go Kyren, and you're going to go Mixon. And then the third one is either Moss or A-Chain. Going Moss. So we're going to go Kyren, Mixon, Moss. That was all good till I saw the reports stating A-Chain to receive increased workload going forward. Correct. But that increased workload is going to be skewed in people's minds because of last week's output, right? 375 yards and 8 touchdowns combined for those two guys is not a realistic expectation of output. So them saying this a week after that happens, of course he's going to get a bigger workload. But it's not going to be 70%. So until it's proven that he's the single back in this, like, the lead back in between this duo, you can't say, oh yeah, we're play A-Chain over some of these guys that we know are getting 20 plus carries on a weekly basis. Like A-Chain could still only get 11 carries and 3-4 targets. Like that would technically be an increased workload depending on snaps. So it's tough to really bet on right now, especially when you see a guy like Moss get 50 some carries, Kyren have the number 1 snap share, and Mixon being on this offense with a sneaky good matchup. So if you want to, if it's a toss up for you, it's between A-Chain and Mixon, but I'm just going to trust Mixon for now, being that lead back in an obvious role. Having A-Chain on the roster is a plus anyways. I need a flex. I have Javonte, Mostert, Zay Flowers, DJ Moore. I have Madison in my wide receiver 2. Should I change that? Leave Madison. Don't play Javonte. You have Mostert. I like the Mostert play. I think Mostert's the play. Yeah, I'm playing Mostert here. Mostert, and then leave Addison as your wide receiver 2. Najee Harris or Rachaad White. 2 underwhelming guys at the running back position. I'm going to go ahead and play Rachaad White today. And then Mims or Tutu Atwell. Well, what do you want? This is the question, because Tutu Atwell, we have ranked 4 spots higher overall, but Mims is supposed to have an increased role as well. And what we've seen in his increased role is that the upside is only going to continue to go higher and higher and higher for Mr. Marvin Mims. I like Marvin Mims. Stroud, Watson, or pick up Russ. Watson's out. Stroud or Russ at the quarterback position would be the question then. And I have Russ at quarterback 8. We've met number 11. And Stroud is at quarterback 19. So it's Russ. With the Zeke news, Stevenson, Rashad, or Pierce. You have to play Stevenson. Stevenson's more effective in the receiving game. Like that's where his efficiencies come from, is in the receiving game. So I'm going to play him. Chargers or Colts defense. Let me see. Of course, I didn't bring up my defensive rankings. My defensive rankings are over at sportstopia.io. That's where all my personal stuff is over at. And I have the defensive rankings and kicker rankings up over there. Colts or Chargers is the question. I would lean towards the Chargers. Should I start Lamar in a potential low-scoring game against the Browns or Geno? I don't really want to bench Lamar. This is the thing. I don't really want to bench Lamar. It's a tough matchup against Cleveland, but I do not want to bench Lamar. Geno gets the Giants on Monday. I think the Seattle's going to dust New York, but it's tough. It's tough to bench Lamar, man. I think this is going to be a good Lamar Andrews game. Start 3 PPR, Swift, Kamara, Kyron, Moss, Javonte. So benching Javonte. And I think we're benching, let's see, you said Moss, Kyron, Kamara. Kamara's at 9. Swift is at 14. Moss is at 14. So that means we're benching. Kyron's at 11. Oh, that is a good question. So Kamara is my number one guy out of this bunch. Kyron's getting the number one snap share. Swift has had the boom upside, but he also playing against a strong defensive line. And Moss, I have one spot behind him, but he's getting the 52 carries over the last 2 weeks, and he's been dominant behind that offensive line. But they're out Ryan Kelly and Bernard Raymond, so they're out 2 linemen. So let's go ahead and not play Moss. So you got to go Swift, Kamara, Kyron. I have Jets D. Should I pick up a different defense in the waivers? I don't know what's available. Inflective 2K. You gotta let me know what's available. Can you get I don't know if you can get a Pittsburgh anymore. I know they have a Houston juicy matchup. I don't know if you can get a Cincinnati against Tennessee. Can you get a New England against Dallas? I would do those things. Addison, Pierce, or Rashad, PPR flex. So let's see. Got Addison at player number 50 overall. Rashad at 55. And Pierce at 78. Need a tight end, Njoku or Ertz. Any other streaming options. Logan Thomas, Everett, Kincaid, Chig, Schultz, Otten, Knox, Hurst, PPR. Need a tight end. That is a loaded question at the tight end position. So he's got Njoku or Ertz this week. Ertz is tight end 22. Njoku's 21. You brought up Otten. Otten is 20. Everett, we have 16. Kincaid, 15. Hurst, 10. So Hurst looks like he's your best option against the Vikings this week. CMC or Pollard. Wait, you have to bench one of these guys? You actually have to bench one of these guys? This is a bullshit question. Come on, Snowman. This is a bullshit question, isn't it? You don't actually have to bench one of these guys. You can't bench CMC. Godwin versus New Orleans or Jacoby now with Aiden O'Connell starting PPR. Godwin I have a bit lower this week, but I like the matchup. Myers is going to get faded because of this, but it's still a juicy matchup. So I'm going to go ahead and go Jacoby. Lamar or A-Rich. I'm going Lamar. Again, A-Rich is coming off a concussion. He's missing a couple offensive linemen. I think this is going to be like the one game in his career where they're like, do not run. And it's going to be emergency running only. He's going to be a pocket quarterback today. That's what I'm kind of afraid of. So I'm kind of staying a little bit of away from A-Rich just today. Appreciate you, Sean Roberts. Pick one from Gooner Boy. What's up, Gooner Boy? Pick one, Mixon, Rashad White, or Godwin, full point PPR. First down, full point per first down reception. Point per first down reception. That definitely benefits Godwin to a certain extent. At the running back position, you only get to pick one. Okay, so you only get to pick one. So you got Mixon, who is at 33. You got White, who have considerably lower. And then you have Godwin, who's also in that lower tier. I think you just have to stick with Mixon here. The first per reception has to bring Godwin up a bit. I would play God. Let's go Godwin, because Mike Evans still has that matchup with Lattimore, and I do think Godwin's gonna have a good game today. Let's go Godwin, Gunner boy. PPR start to Ramondre, White, Ford, Madison, Najee. Ramondre, White, Ford, Madison, Najee. Pick 2. Ramondre is at running back 17 for me. Madison's at running back 10. People are going to hate that. But I'm going to go with Madison and Ramondre. White and Ford are just outside the top 20. My Steelers fan buddy just told me that the entire offensive line is out. That's going to be rough. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was talking about, the Tank Dell thing. Like, I was talking to Alex the other day, and I was like, and him and Siege do their circa picks, and I was like, dude, on Thursday I said this, you got to pick the Steelers, and they laughed at me. And then on Friday night, Alex texted me, he's like, dude, we're picking the Steelers, and I was like, you damn right you're picking the Steelers. It was like -2. Steelers are gonna come in there and give Houston some work. I'll tell you that right now. And I like Houston, so whatever. Full point PPR, pick 2, Rachaad White, Ramondre, or A-Chain. Lots of Rachaad White, lots of Ramondre, and lots of A-Chain today. Ramondre is number 1 on this list, then Rachaad White, then A-Chain. As pukey as that sounds. You're going to get some pass catching out of Ramondre. You're going to get some pass catching out of Rachaad. A-Chain just a couple spots behind there, but you're getting boom upside. You're also getting a kind of a limited ceiling with Stevenson and White. So I would understand if you picked one of those guys plus A-Chain because of the A-Chain upside. Kyle Singer says, I skipped his question. I don't see a question from Kyle Singer on here. Bro, he said, bro, you skipped my question. Kyle Singer, there's literally not a question from you on here. Sorry, bro. But if you ask one, I'll answer it. I literally answer every question. So I'm going to go Gooner Boy. I'm going to say this right now. Rachaad White and Ramondre have a limited ceiling. A-Chain ceiling does not limit. So I would play one of these guys with the other. One of these guys, that was a dumb answer. One of these guys with A-Chain. So Ramondre with A-Chain. That's where I would go. I have Hunter Henry. Should I drop Kincaid to add Keaton Mitchell and Kendre as my stashes to then keep 2 tight ends on my roster? Yes. James Conner or Garrett Wilson at flex? James Conner. Half point PPR, pick 2. Jacoby Myers, George Pickens, Hubbard, Roshan, Hopkins. Myers and Pickens. Gabriel Sanchez, thank you for the question. I really appreciate it. Alec, should I sit Debo and Miles Sanders for today? I subbed in Cooper and Jerome Ford, respectively. I'm afraid so. I'm a little worried about this Debo thing, rib and knee. They don't need him. Ayuk and Kittle are healthy. This is just how this offense operates. Of course, they have Christian McCaffrey. I don't think that if they do, now he goes out there and goes for 100, we're going to look like dummies. But I would also bench Debo. I'd actually just bench Debo. I can pull my FFPC team up right now that I did it in, and I can tell you exactly who I benched him for because I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'll pull it up right now, though. Let's see. My teams right here. Set roster. I benched Debo for Jerome Ford. So I did kind of what you just did. Bench Debo for Jerome Ford. Also, he said I subbed in Amari Cooper and Jerome Ford. Yeah, I like that, Alec. Good job. I like it. KC or Philly's defense? Philly. I think you go in Philly against Washington. Xavier Woods is out today for the Carolina Panthers. Xavier Woods played for the Vikings last year. Frankie Louvu is active, though. We're going to start to get some inactives now that it's 11:30 Eastern time. Half PPR, I need 1 at wide receiver. Zay, DJ Moore, Lockett. I'm going Zay. Actually, Godwin, Wilson, or James Conner at flex. So we added Godwin into the Conner Wilson thing. Conner still. Half PPR, Godwin, A-Chain, Moss, pick 2. Didn't we just answer Gooner Boy? What was this? Oh, Gooner's just setting a bunch of his lineups. I got you. Godwin, A-Chain, Moss, pick 2. A-Chain and Moss for me. Kyle, you can answer it. Ask it again, brother. You said I don't know where it went. Yeah, for sure. no worries, dude. I honestly, I scrolled all the way back. I didn't see it. So I don't know. Maybe it was an error and failed or something. I'm not sure, but feel free to answer to Gwen. Gavin says Granson versus LAR. Oh, this is Gavin answering it in 3 parts. Granson versus LAR or Dowdle versus Gibson. Oh my God, dude. Granson or Dowdle or Gibson. Half point. Not Granson. And I think I have Dowdle ahead of Gibson. I do. I got Dowdle ahead of Gibson. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate you. Jonathan Mingo is officially out. He's still in concussion protocol. Michael Thomas, Breece Hall, George Pickens, pick 1 to flex. So for me, it's between Pickens and Thomas. And Pickens I have at 43rd at the flex position. And Thomas I have 85th. Much lower on Thomas. Will Saquon play? Does not look like Saquon will play, nor will he have his left tackle even if he does. Deshaun Watson is now also not playing. Should I play Lockett or Cooper? Cooper. Dowdle. You're good, brother. Don't worry about it. Dowdle. It keeps getting removed weird. There it is again. I don't know. Are you swearing in it? If you say fucking cuck, fuck, bitch, it might not work. I don't know. If you type something like that, it doesn't show up, I don't think. But feel free to keep asking. I'll answer if it pops up. Good morning. Yo, Xander Rikens says, should I start DJ Moore, Terry, or Cooper? I'm starting DJ Moore, brother. Terry's unstartable at this point. And Cooper is fine, but DJ Moore has more upside and I think a better matchup today. Addison or Zach Moss? That's a good question. Addison or Zach Moss and flex? These guys I think are going to be close on here. And I think I would be wrong. Moss is 30, Addison's 50. So yeah, I'm going to go Moss. Appreciate you guys. If you are on here on YouTube, please click that like button, click subscribe. If you do have a question, drop it in the chat. I'm going to pull up Twitter right now and see if I can find us some inactives and we can chat about some of these situations that are coming. I got a comment on this David Njoku video. Says 7 for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns confirmed. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see what we got for inactives in week number 4. Do you guys have any favorite plays for DFS today? If you do, drop in the chat. All right, so Ian Rappaport says that DeMar Hamlin is indeed active because I think Poyer is out for the Bills. Looks like Marcus Williams for the Ravens is also out with Marlon Humphrey, as well as Ojabo and Odafe away. Fourth quarter just started with his Jacksonville and Atlanta game, and we got Evan Ingram going for 19 yards, which hits 50, which is part of my 16-leg parlay today. 50 yards for Evan Ingram. You love to see it. Christian Kirk has 7 for 82 and 11 targets. Ridley still 2 targets. Fantastic, but he caught a touchdown. Logan Thomas is up. Therefore, Cole Turner is not a start at the tight end position. He's not a sneaky start. Mingo, like I said before, is out. Carr active. Deshaun Watson is not at the quarterback position. We already talked about both of those. For the Bears today, Eddie Jackson, defensive back, is out. Jalen Johnson is out. Deonta Foreman's a healthy scratch, and Chase Claypool's a healthy scratch. So just a fucking mess in in Chicago, per normal. In Philadelphia, Quez Watkins is inactive today, leaving the door open for Olamide Zaccheaus once again. Rashad Penny is inactive in this game, so I'm sure we're going to get plenty of our 2 favorite running backs in Mr. Swift and Gainwell. In Miami, it looks like there's going to be no Eli Apple against the Bills, no Deshaun Elliott, and no Jalen Phillips on the defensive side of the football for the Miami Dolphins. For the Baltimore Ravens, like I mentioned before, no Marcus Williams, no Marlon Humphrey, no Odafe Away, no David Ojabo, who's on IR now. Also, no Ronnie Stanley on the offensive side of the football. No OBJ or Rashad Bateman officially. The Vikings will be without their center, Garrett Bradbury. So they already sucked up front. Now they're going to suck even more. Actually, they might be better because Garrett Bradbury is not that great. Still scrolling through here. Chris Rodriguez, running back for the Commanders, is officially inactive in this one. So there should hypothetically be at least one more carry for Antonio Gibson in this one because Rodriguez plus Curtis Samuel equaled the same amount of carries that Gibson had over the first couple of weeks of the season. Let's see. For the Colts today, outside of Ryan Kelly, at the center position, Bernard Raymond at tackle. It looks like Adetomoye Adebawore will be active today. He's not one of the 7 inactives this week. So Adebawore is the defensive lineman from Northwestern that we loved coming through the process. Will Mallory at tight end is inactive, however. He's a guy that had a decent game just a few weeks ago. Marcus Davenport, the defensive end for the Vikings, is active. Other out players in fantasy continue to be Mingo, Burks, Irv Smith, Justice Hill. All right, let's get back to some of these questions here. Waller with 1.5 PPR or Mike Evans, Brees, or Sanders. I'm going Waller, Shazutu. Kyle Singer, I think your question worked. Breida, Kelly, Ford, Gabe Davis, Michael Thomas, full PPR. Pick 1, running back 1, wide receiver 1, flex. Kelly, Ford, Michael Thomas. Kelly, Ford, Michael Thomas. Kyle Singer, appreciate you grinding through and getting that question in there. Kelly, Ford, Michael Thomas. With Watson out, Dak or Stafford, Elijah Moore or Roshan. I'm going to play Stafford today, and I'm going to play Roshan. Yes, Roshan. Stafford and Roshan. Should I trust Kamara in his first week back with the Saints thin at running back? Exactly why you should trust him. I have him at running back 9 this week. I trust in the process. He's not coming off an injury. He's coming off suspension. Speaking of people on Twitter that made a cool post or a funny post, when he came out, this was his video of him being officially turned back active.
Bit my tape, wait, home free. Home free. Home free. Let's go.
Face. There's Kamara's face.
Bit my tape, wait,
and then as it goes on, you're going to see Derek Carr enter right here. This is Derek Carr.
That little Ray. Man, this ain't right. What the fuck? That little
So dumb. But no, he's back. I like the matchup for Kamara, and I think he's due to burst onto the scene. He's not going to give you 6 points, I don't think. Better bench stash, Cam Akers or Keaton Mitchell? Keaton Mitchell. Need 2 flex. PPR. Madison, White, DJ Moore, or Flowers. Madison, White, DJ Moore, or Flowers. So I got Madison over White. We got Flowers or DJ Moore. I got Flowers over DJ Moore. And I got Flowers over Rashad White. So I got we're going to go Flowers and Madison here. Bible salesman. Appreciate you. Matt Breida or Josh Kelly. I'm going to go Josh Kelly. I think so. The thing with Breida is that I think Brightwell is going to continue to have too much in the passing game. I think he's going to be too much of a nuisance. So Breida's not going to get the elevation into that next tier of running backs where Kelly sits. Carr or Pickett, I have Olave. Carr or Pickett, I have Olave. Carr. Thank you, man, says Kyle Singer. Appreciate you guys all tuning in, tapping in on this beautiful Sunday morning. It's 11:45 a.m. Eastern time. I'm going to see if I can find some more inactives, and then we'll get the hell out of here. I don't see anything new popping up on the old X, as they call it, not Twitter, the old X. Looks like we got through all the inactives. So there's nothing really massive. Tennessee Titans, when we mentioned these guys already, but Peter Skoronski on the offensive line also is inactive. Jalen Duncan also inactive. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to get beat like 38-7 today, 38-6. It's not going to be a good game, I don't think. All right. And that's all I got for inactives. So we got a couple more questions. We'll get these questions answered, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here and go set some lineups myself. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in, tapping in. Please click that like button, click subscribe. Zach Evans is inactive for the Los Angeles Rams today. Also, Ernest Brown on the defensive line if you play IDP. There it is. All right. Let's run through here quick. Malachi says, A.J. Brown, Hopkins, DJ Moore, Tank, Gabe, start 3. Give me A.J. Brown, give me DJ Moore, and give me Tank. A.J. Brown, A.J. DJ, Tank. There it is. Mako J says Tank or Garrett Wilson at wide receiver 2. Tank. Also Brian Robinson or Zach Moss at running back 2. Moss and Tank. Fields or Dak. That one I think I have like back-to-back. Prescott, I have 24th. Fields, I have 16th. Yeah, so we're going to go Fields. Yuck. Got to go Fields. Gabe Davis or Cooper? I got Cooper by a handful. Miles Sanders or Tank? Sanders is at 52. Tank is at 48. So just a titch ahead. I got Tank though. Would you play Pickett or Carr over Stafford? I don't think I'm going to play Carr over Stafford. I'm not touching Pickett with a 37-foot pole. Just because he hasn't given us enough. Again, I said I like Pittsburgh today, but that's not because I like Pickett. It's because I like Pittsburgh defense. He said Stafford or Carr, essentially. So Carr, let's see here. Carr, I think I got Carr. I'm going to go Carr. They're back-to-back, 20 and 21. The matchup tool says to go Stafford at 6. 6th best matchup. Carr says the 20th best matchup. Let's see here. What else do we have here for Stafford versus Carr? Alex has Stafford. Trashman has Stafford. I have Carr by 1 spot. The projections have Stafford. ECR has everyone else has Stafford except for me, and I have him back-to-back. So I think we just go. You should go Stafford. Appreciate you, Snowman, for tuning in, tapping in. Start 2 PPR, Kelly White, Pierce Ford. I think it's Kelly and Ford. I want to say I have Ford over Pierce. Oh, White. Wait. Sorry, Kelly and White. Yes, Kelly and White. Cooper or Flowers, half PPR. Flowers. Bob Watson, thank you as well for tuning in. Until next Sunday, I'm Cody Carpentier. I appreciate you guys tuning in to watching rosters with the start sits. If you got any more questions, please go to RosterWatch.com. Drop those questions in the comments. Me, Trashman, Byron, or Alex will get that question answered for you. But until then, click like, click subscribe. Stay tuned in, stay tapped in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because, like I said, I'm live today. I'll be live tomorrow with top 10 takes. That's my goal tomorrow evening. Tuesday will be waiver wires, and then Wednesday will be Byron's trade cast. We love you. We appreciate you. RosterWatch Nation, we are out. Enjoy your Sunday.